Hey guys, what's up? This is DJ Morgana again. I know I really don't make videos as much as I used to, but I want to make some points. Sorry. I was going over to the store, to Walmart and stuff, I was going over to the store with my mom earlier, and then I'm taking a shower as soon as I get back after helping, putting the food away and stuff. Got myself a new pair of earrings and a couple of other ones. But I was getting a little bit disturbed right now. I felt like just shedding tears because, as I was almost done with the shower, my mom told me, Amber, I got some bad news. And I'm getting a little nervous. I'm like, what? Did I do something wrong? Did I, And then, as soon as I got out the shower room, my mom said, wow, what did I do? If I did something wrong, I'll stop. Is it about Dad? And then she's like, no. She's like, Amber, somebody's complaining about the rooster making noise. And, my mom told me, because there was a lady, and I saw another white car coming over here, and I was looking outside outside my window. So I was just wondering, okay, well, is this a customer trying to buy some of my dad's plants or my stepdad's plants or whatever? And so I found out it wasn't, and my mom told me that there was somebody from like a department of whatever, like animal stuff or whatever, whatever it was that came over here and said that somebody, probably the neighbor over here on this side, was complaining about the rooster, because I have a rooster. You guys have seen Smokey, and my neighbor over there also has a rooster. So, and me and my mom was talking to the neighbor later on today, just recently. So, way before that, I was feeling so sorrowful, and I'm just like, God, Lord Jesus, please, God, I put my rooster, Lord, and I put my neighbor's rooster, Lord, in your hands, God. Don't let them take our roosters from us. And I can't imagine losing my baby and all my chickens, because, over here, the law, whatever, said that you're allowed to have chickens, but now roosters, which don't make no sense to me, because now me and my mom and a neighbor over here that has a rooster, we're talking about it, and so because my mom, she had to let her know, and she's like, I gotta warn so-and-so over there, so we went over there, and we talked to her, and and the neighbor over there, she agreed with us. She's like, and with the neighbor, she said, because if we have an economic collapse, we're supposed to raise animals for food and stuff, our livestock, raise animals for food. And me, my mom, and the neighbor over there, we were both on an agreement, She has a beautiful rooster, I got a rooster. So, and in the morning, my rooster and her rooster, they talk in the morning back and forth. Now, Smokey, he may make noise maybe like at 3 or 4 something in the morning. But the other rooster that's over there, the neighbor's rooster, it's like they talk, they talk. I don't know what she named, I don't know what my neighbor named her rooster, but I know my rooster's name is Smokey. I don't know what she named her rooster, but but my rooster and the neighbor's rooster over there, they get along pretty good. Like, I don't know why they're gonna. So it's a really good thing that me and my mom went over there to talk to her, and she said, look, in case if anything happens, and and if we got to give up the roosters, if they try to make us give up the roosters, we're gonna have to file some complaints and get the laws to change to allow us to keep our babies, in which I do agree. And I love my rooster. I love my Smokey. I do hug him a little more. I do hug Nala, but I'm afraid that Smokey's gonna come after me and come after her. Now, Ginger, she won't let me touch her and pet her. Unless if I have to, barcade her or whatever in, an enclosed area. And then I could pick her up and hug her. But Smokey, however, he could be standing right here with his face, facing, not facing me, but facing the opposite direction, and his back is towards me, so I have to go over him and put my hands around his neck, his chest, and his stomach, and then I just pick him up, and so my Smokey, and I was just giving my Smokey a hug today. I wanted to hug him, you know, because I love him, you know, he's my baby, you know, and I had Smokey, you know, for all these years, and well, since I was like 28 or 29, like about almost a year and a half, or 2 years and a half, and nobody said anything. And even the neighbor has a rooster over there. So me and her, we both got roosters. They talk back and forth. But my rooster, like I said, my rooster and her rooster, okay, they talk and conversate back and forth. Like he crows, they both crow. But they do that in the morning, you know, in the morning to the afternoon. And then from the afternoon until nighttime, they don't make any more noise, you know. But even though my neighbor, you know, she said that her rooster is a little more loud than mine. So I don't know why it just seems like the neighbor over here on this side is just complaining about my rooster and not. And I'm just like, it's. And, you know, my mom was also talking to the neighbor over there that has a rooster. You know, she said, "What would that be? You know, if I got to give up my rooster and they keep theirs, which is not fair." I'm just worried about this, you guys. You know, I'm still hoping, I'm praying to God. And I believe that God will let me keep my rooster. I have so much faith in God. Just like I was praying to God for like a few weeks and days in a row. Just crying and shedding my tears out saying, God, keep my parents together, Lord. Don't let my parents divorce. Don't let Satan tear up this family. And he's given me things that I wanted and what I needed. And I praise God so much for that. And I do believe that God will do it again. And I believe that God's not going to let me give up my baby. Because I do believe that, I really hope that God will help me and my neighbor out in this situation with our roosters and with, you know. And as this stuff is just going through my head earlier today, I'm just thinking to myself, like, man, that B system is arising. Because I heard something about that B system, that, you know, the government, the B system, they're probably not going to want you to have animals to raise for food or pets. They want you to put some trust in the system. Guys, I'm going to tell you something. I encourage you. If you have a big backyard or a little backyard, get some farm animals, okay? A bunch of chickens. Get a bunch of chickens and roosters, okay? We're going to have to start raising these animals for food. Because if the economic collapses and stuff goes down, at least praise God, you know, and listen, I'd rather be having animals to raise for food, let alone chickens. I don't know about roosters because I heard that a rooster's meat is more dark and it's more tough, more strong, no, more hard and stuff. So, but it's a good thing that my stepdad is still planting, you know, fruits and vegetables. So thank God we have fruits and vegetables and we have chickens, you know, to raise over here for meat. But even though I'm really having it for pets, you know, and my rooster, I want him to have babies, you know. Even that's also what my neighbor was saying earlier today, you know, when me and my mom was talking to her, you know, and then the neighbor's like, you know what I mean, if the economic collapses, I want to have babies, you know, and I want to have animals. And I was like, yeah, you know, I mean, God gave us dominion over the animals. Even in ancient Israel with the Jewish people, you know, when they would have, how they would also sacrifice animals at the time, they would have the ancient Israelis, man, I'm pretty sure they probably had a lot of farms, you know, tending to the animals, tending to the plants, you know. I'm pretty sure probably people had a lot more animals back then, you know, to raise for food. You know, guys, we're going to have to go back to farming. We're going to have to go back to raising a lot of animals for food. We're going to have to start getting bigger backyards, you know, having more backyard chickens, backyard farm animals. We're going to have to start doing that, man, you know. Speaking of farms, I'd rather be having my babies on like a regular backyard like this. These farm factories that I saw a couple of videos of, it is so sick. It's sick. I can't stand how they treat these animals in these farm factories. These poor animals, man, that they suffer. And you know, and I'm just thinking to myself, and I was gonna look on Google earlier today about, you know, like, but if I gotta get rid of my rooster, who's gonna have him and what's gonna happen to my rooster? Because me and the neighbor, we are not giving up our roosters. I'm sorry, we're not. We're not going to. You are not going to make us give up our babies, okay? You're not going to make us give up our pets, no matter what you try to pull on us. We are not giving up our livestock. We're not doing it. We're not doing it. This is our God-given right. We have authority by God, us humans, to have dominion over the animals, and nobody's going to do or say anything about it. Period. Okay? That's our God-given right, regardless whether who likes it or not. That devil, man, I hate that devil. I literally hate Satan. I hate him. Usually I don't say hate, but when it comes to that devil, when it comes to the demonic realm and the beast system, I hate it. I hate it. Bug over there. I hate the beast. I hate the Antichrist. I hate him. It's a bug over here. There's a bug over here on my light thing. It's a prayer shawl. I thought I wanted to talk about that, you guys. It's just... I really wanted to just shed my tears today because I've been getting really emotional thinking about this whole thing. Can't believe it, man. The neighbors over here. Now, the one over here in front of me, but over to the side right there, that's the neighbor that has a rooster. She's amazing. But the other neighbor that's over here on this side, they're probably the ones that were complaining about the rooster. And I'm thinking to myself, like, man, why in the world are you only talking about my rooster, okay? We both got roosters. So if you're going to complain about my rooster, you might as well go ahead and complain about the both of us. It's crazy how some people could be unfair. And another thing, us Latinos, us Puerto Ricans, us Dominicans, us Spanish people, us Native American, Indian, Latino people, us modern day Arawakan, we live out here, man. We live out here, and we live with a bunch of animals, man, to raise for food. And people like us, we have chickens. My great grandmother, she was from Spain, She was from Spain. She lived in a mansion. She had servants, and she had, she was rich. My great grandmother, my abuelita, she comes from Spain. She was a Spaniard, and she was white. And my grandmother, which is my mother's mother, she was black, and she was also a Spaniard. And but they both have RH in them, so I'm mixed in my family. There's a lot more to that story, but, and the mansion that was in Puerto Rico, the island of Bonican, that was supposed to go to me and my mother. So, I probably would have been living in a mansion right now, in a hot area. And even the neighbor, she said that, what law are they talking about? I'm going to look into this stuff. And us over here, we should get together and start defending our animals and say, listen, you hateful racist people or whatever, you're not going to make us give up our animals just because you got an issue with their noise or whatever. Come on. You're not making me give up my babies. You're not. That's my Smokey. That's my baby. They're like my children, man. It's like I'm forced to give up my child. No, you're not making me do that. Well, I'm going to shut this video down, you guys. I know I really don't talk about my ancestry that much. But I did thought about making another video of, showing you guys pictures of me when I was little and, and my family and stuff. I had tons of pictures of me when I was a baby, from way back when I was very little to all the way to now. Well, up to my preteen years, I guess, I thought I wanted to put that out there, you guys. If you guys have any animals, you protect your animals, man. Don't let anybody take your animals from you. Especially if you love your animals and you're treating them right, It's our God-given authority that we are to have dominion over the animals. You know, we can't let like hateful, racist, whatever people, you know, dictate to us what we're going to do with our animals and what we're not going to do. No, there are animals, especially if we're treating them right and if we love our animals, we're going to raise our animals as pets or for food, let alone, you know, with the farm animals, you know. Yeah, I'm not giving up my Smokey. My Smokey is my baby. You're not making me give him up. I don't care. So when Mom was telling me this earlier, I started to feel so sad in that heart, like emotional, sort of. Like I just wanted to cry and shed tears right there. But it might go to court. I mean, it might not. I'm hoping and praying to God it doesn't, because I don't know what these people out here are going to do. But by the time that whole thing was done, my mom earlier today started blasting that Latina salsa bachata music, you know. My mom was blasting her Spanish. My mom was blasting her Spanish music right down there earlier today, man, in the living room. She had the little speaker at the window. And then the neighbor over here talk about, oh, keep it down. I guess my mom probably fought back like that. Well, I'm going to shut this video down, you guys. I know I've probably been on here for a while. I mean, I know I got to get back to making other videos about more important stuff like the supernatural and things like that. So, I want to say peace out, you guys. I love you guys. God bless. Time to take care of our animals, man. And back up our babies.